Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we're sitting here talking about the biggest news that is in professional wrestling today. Honestly, when I first saw this news, I thought it was a joke, but apparently AEW has made a splash, signing a free agent away from WWE. It is not the first time that it has happened where basically they've taken somebody off the roster, but in my opinion, I know that you're always going to be drawing, lines between AEW and WCW because the fact of, the millionaire owner and just the huge roster of people that they don't even use each and every week. But AEW has signed the Big Show. Paul Wight has come to AEW. He's sort of dressed up like Big Bubba Rogers' gimmick back in the day. He's wearing the white shirt. He's got the suspenders. It looks like he's coming in there and he's going to be like sort of like all business. The fact that they broke the news on Twitter and not, used him as sort of like a big splash moment on television sort of says that I think he's going to be doing a lot of stuff backstage as well as he is on screen. I don't know how you could have used him by debuting him on the AEW TV show or maybe bringing him in at the Revolution pay-per-view that is coming up. A lot of times when like guys would jump to like TNA after their days with WWE were done, they always sort of got paired with a gimmick that was really close to what they were doing in WWE. Big Show to me was always sort of like his own guy. The only guy that I can sort of pair him with would be like Jericho. Because of the fact that, they were a tag team, I believe in like 2009 when Edge got hurt. Big Show took over and Jericho and Big Show held the tag titles, and Jericho worked Raw and SmackDown at a time because of the tag titles, when that was kind of like nobody else had done that because of the brand split, and they sort of really stuck to that. But for some reason they made, Jericho non-exclusive to that, and they just used him on TV. Or on Raw, he would be a tag team guy, and then he'd jump over to SmackDown, and he'd be a singles guy. But, I think this is pretty cool, but in the end, it's like, I think this honestly helps WWE. I mean, so many times, Big Show is always sort of pigeonholed into like these matches with guys where he was like the highest overpriced big name jobber in the company. I can't even remember the last time Big Show actually had a match that mattered, that he won. He went and he had feuds with guys like Braun Strowman on television, which led to them, having the match where the ring collapsed or the steel cage fell down. The last feud that was honestly pretty cool were the matches that he had with Roman Reigns on pay-per-view were pretty cool. But, each and every main event on Raw was headlined by like a tag team match with Big Show and somebody else going up against these guys. And I don't know. I mean, Big Show's had a career that, started in the late 90s in WCW, where he was the Giant. And then, of course, he went to WWE, where he was Paul Wight, the Big Nasty, which then I think turned into the Big Show in his early days of him debuting. We all knew that he was going. Anybody that had a computer, knew that, he was jumping. Anybody who saw the way that WCW booked the Giant in its last dying days. The Giant was such a cool character. He came in as a member of the Dungeon of Doom. Really looked like a guy who could take out Hulk Hogan. It was sort of gimmicky. The way that, they had the monster truck match on top of the arena, and then Hogan had him fall off the side, and then he just came down and beat the shit out of Hogan at the end of the show. And of course, then at the end, you've got the Yeti coming down, and they're doing the whole thing with Hogan in the ring. I'm pretty sure that Big Show won the title that night. I think he did. And then, of course, the way they're able to get the title off of him is they just strip him for no reason out of the blue. Which then led to him sort of being like a WCW guy and then jumping to the NWO. But then, once they didn't really have a need for him anymore, then he became a WCW guy. And then once they didn't need him anymore, they put him back in the NWO. That makes no sense at all, that a group that has already let you come in, you betray them, and they're like, hey, come on back, we'll take you. But I'm not looking forward to a lot from the Big Show. I'm hoping that he's able to help out there if it is like a main backstage kind of role, where he's also going to be sort of featured on television. He can hopefully be the muscle for somebody. He's going to look intimidating standing in the background. The Inner Circle. Maybe if they, do split ways with Sammy quitting the group. Jericho already has MJF right now as a tag team partner. But maybe they break up at the pay-per-view when MJF turns on him. But they've already got Swagger in the Inner Circle, so I don't know if they need a bigger muscle guy in there, but I don't know. I mean, this is the biggest news of the day. I don't think it's going to make the hugest impact. I think if it was, they would have kept it quiet and you would actually saw him on television. But we'll see. Maybe they just bring him in as like the big free agent, and then there's question marks around him. What they're actually going to do with him now that they got him. So we'll see. Peace out, guys.